Kamala can't get out of the pooper, even with help from Mr. Cooper. Wednesday night, Kamala Harris chanced to CNN town hall. It was the opposite of good. But hey, how can we expect her to deviate from the direction of the Biden administration?
How can we expect you to deviate from the direction of that administration compared to your own? How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
That's a great question, and thank you. Well, first of all, my administration will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring to this role my own ideas and my own experience. I represent a new generation of leadership on a number of issues and believe that we have to actually take new approaches.
That answer was as generic and twisted as a tub of Kirkland pretzels. But what are her weaknesses?
What weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect, so let's start there. And I think that perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value having a team of very smart people around me who bring to my decision-making process different perspectives. My team will tell you I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires on it.
Apparently her weakness is she sucks at listing her weaknesses. Listen how she answers this question.
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life or in your life in the last 4 years, that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from, you know, if you've ever parented a child, you know you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Well, just listening to that answer shaved 10 points off all of our IQs. Finally, here's Anderson trying to figure out what the hell she's been doing as Veep for the past 4 years.
Some voters, though, might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done for the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
Hold on. There's a lot more to be done that's not been done other than what's been done. Like saying the word done. Sounds to me that if anything's done, it's her. Pat, it was almost amazing, right? Her responses to some of this stuff was unbelievable.
Oh, you missed my favorite one,
Which one?
is, so a libertarian asked her, that they introduced the guy saying this is a registered libertarian, and he asked her about grocery prices and, you know, rent, expensive, and she goes on by bragging about how she'd be the first person essentially to institute price controls, which I guess be yourself,
Yeah.
but you could give her credit for that, except for she didn't seem to notice the irony of the fact that that was her answer to a there's one thing that libertarians love, it's government-instituted price control. And if she made a joke about it, that'd be one thing, but I was watching that, I was like, oh my God, she doesn't know what a libertarian is.
Not a clue.
Not like, if she's just being herself and sticking to what she actually, what her plan would be, but she didn't, there was not a hint of irony in her voice or her face.
There was a hint of irony.
Well, no, she didn't see
that
it.
her flaw was that she tries too hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
Too perfect.
works too long and spends all her time. She's been researching. I want to rip my eye out, show it to myself, and then rip the other one out. This is not close, Greg. It's impossible. Those were She knew the answers
That's
to
the
the
crazy
test.
part.
They've been asked before, too.
That's the
She's even
craziest
forgetting
part.
her recycled.
Yes.
Like, come on, Kamala, you're supposed to answer every question that you were born in a middle-class house. Like, what are we doing? Don't.
Emily, I mean, when CNN is slamming you, I mean, they went after her afterwards. They realized they couldn't polish this turd.
No. That's a great question, Greg. That's a great question. No, you know, I think her weakness is English.
Yeah.
she doesn't know any vocabulary words, clearly. She has one job, stick to the script. The fact that you can't even stick to the script, that as she admitted, she has great people around her handing her things of what to say because she can't think for herself, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked about the town hall, too, she mentioned the filibuster and then she confused the Senate and the House, which, whatever, just speaks very Kamala.
Yeah.
She speaks like she's speaking in filibuster. She's
Yeah.
like, yeah. And she's like trying to beat around the bush, never answers the question, almost as if she's trying to run the clock down.
Yes, absolutely.
nervous.
Yeah. Like,
when is this over? If I keep repeating myself, maybe the time will go quicker.
you know, I realize this, is thinking about this, that contestants on Shark Tank prepare more for that than she is for the presidency. Like, they actually have to explain something that they're selling. She can't explain what she's selling.
Let me bring it back to my favorite topic, money.
Yeah.
We get it.
Follow me on this. Just give me a moment. 88% of investment advisors can't beat the S&P 500. 88%. So you give them $1 million at the beginning of the year, or you just put it in the S&P, and 88% fail. There's some stock picking going on here by Obama and Pelosi and Schumer. They picked her because they're good stock pickers. They picked Hillary Clinton. Oops.
Yeah.
They missed that 88% right there. But what we're seeing here, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be it, when you circumvent democracy, it goes right behind you and bites you in your ass. Because what should have happened is they should have run a process, let her run there too, figure out who was the right person to do this when Biden stepped aside, and they wouldn't be in this mess right now. Because there's a reason she lost in 2019. There's a reason she got smoked in 2020. It's this.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
All right. I agree. Coming up, Trump's not fond of busybodies across the pond.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.